I think all history is personal, and is when I see these old pictures and I realize, okay, so I got moved out of Culver City in that area that's near where the river goes by. We had to move up to a place that's a little more hidden and protected. The canyons. He runs the names of those villages. You go, Cahuenga? Yes. The place above, Topanya, where waves sound loud, Humalawo. You look at where all the villages are, they're all on the creeks. There's a big ocean out there. If it was just about the water, salt water's okay, right? No. It's fresh water, and you've got this incredible area. Anyway, I moved up to Topanga, I became a Cub Scout, and I went digging up in those hills for fossils. And I said to my scout leader, how old are these? Oh, this was all underwater. This was all under an ocean. How old are these? 5 million years old. People talk about, oh, salt water this, salt water that. Yeah, 5 million years ago. More recently, though, like when these folks are living here, 10,000 years ago, there was a big ice age. And all the water in the ocean was frozen and hanging out up north. So that ocean was way lower. Our coastline was 2 to 3 miles farther out. Those islands were all 2 to 3 miles wider. So you could live here and have a big canoe and go back and forth all the time, which the Tomba did out of San Pedro to Catalina, all these islands. Since then it's been warming up, and the water has been melting, and that sea has been coming to get us. Well, we have to defend our fresh water against the influx of salt water. And when you talk about what's going on in Playa Vista, where they're pumping out our fresh water, and they're talking about digging a trench to bring the sea in, keep the sea away. No, it's the fresh water. So these are all representations of Ballona, the birds that we recognize. And we've got the little canoes. And this is a woman, and I was trying to find out more specifically. It just said Ballona. It's about 1895. And there's her dog. And she's making a little basket. And that's her place. And it's not made out of seaweed. It's made out of the reeds that grow along the river below. And then there's this wonderful canoe. The only tribes in America that use this special canoe it's a Polynesian design. It's a sewn plank canoe. They don't hollow out a log, big, heavy, horrible. They take planks, bend them, sew them together. The only place that you can get away with that kind of thing is a place where there would be a whole bunch of oil and tar kind of collecting on the beach, or a whole area that was just named for the brea that collects there. And so you would put it on the roof of your house, and you would put it on the seams in your boat. And it makes an incredibly efficient, lightweight, fast boat. But don't try it anywhere where you don't have the tar to do the beach tar to do the caulking. The Polynesians, obviously the greatest sailors in the world, they'd come down the coast and they'd share their design with us. So then the Spanish arrive, and they're looking for gold. And when they can't really find it, they go, well, originally that Columbus guy, he was talking about the spices from Spain, and so we're going to continue on. And so 1542 they come by, don't find the gold that they want. They proceed on to the Philippines, named after King Philip, what a surprise. And they do trade there. And once a month, for 200 years, they come down the coast, and these galleons are loaded up with they get all the silver that they stole down in Peru. They take it across. The Chinese like the silver. They buy all the spices and other goods. They bring them up on the current around, coming down the coast of Washington, Oregon, and they come by and say hi for 250 years. And then later on, the Russians have gotten interested, other places, and they go, we better establish forts, presidios, and we better establish missions, and we'll take over this land. And so these people that had been used to these guys coming by and giving them a little water and trading shells for this or that, they ended up having to work basically almost slave labor out of the missions, and all the Ballona people, good Ballona people, were sent out to San Gabriel. It's a little hot. The traders, the ones that have been here the longest, they kind of retreated into the canyons. That's the Chumash. They kind of went sneaking up north and into the canyons, and they didn't become part of that mission. This is the Saddle Peak up in Topanga, so This isn't far from where my boat is today. But this is a hunter, and there was a a little hunting lodge there, and the owner of it, this is 100 years ago, actually 110 years ago, his name was Will Tell. And so there was a hunting lodge there and a rifle range right where the marina is now. And I've got these great old pictures. If you come Tuesday night, I'll show you some of them. All oil wells. Because after we moved from Culver City, something else happened up here. The Baldwin Hills Dam broke. Right up here. And all the water went down into Culver City. Any of you remember that?
Yes.
So, yeah. So oil, water, don't mix. Wait, the LA Times, 1981, said, oh, this is kind of the 200-year history of LA. So they made this wonderful little map, and I'm going to have it poster size so everybody can look at it. It's got a little guy that's finding the first gold in California, which we pulled up an onion out of the ground, and there was a little nugget in there. And later on, they find it up north, and we had gold down here, but not like they did up there. What's neat about this map is it shows the LA River going out to Ballona. And it shows something called the Zanja, which is Zanja Madre, was our original irrigation system. Mulholland was a zanjero. You used to have to pay the zanjero more than the mayor of the town, because otherwise, if you needed water for your crops, you'd bribe him. That's another story. But the idea is, I like this map because it has all these significant things that happen, and it includes a lot of history of LA. So they made that in 1981 to reflect the 200 years. So it's been a little while, but that was from the LA Times. So essentially, we're looking at this area that 10,000 years ago had one of the largest populations on Earth. Remember, Egypt making the pyramids 3,000 years ago. 7,000 years before that, we were all kind of hunters and gatherers. Guess where the best land in the world was to do that? You've got to have it be on an ocean so that you can get some of that. You want to have a lot of fresh water coming in on the alluvium and all that. This was one of the largest settlements in the world. And there were people happily living here, peacefully living here all that time. Then, of course, 1492, Columbus discovers the place. Like 10,000 is the minimum amount of time that people have been here. And that water has always been precious to us. And I never like to hear that someone next door is going, well, we'll have less problem with the oil and gas and methane popping up if we eliminate all that water down there. Going, no, you keep that water coming. If there's one thing that we have a right to, it's the air and the water. Don't be messing with that.